Hey y'all, I'm Marissa. Welcome back to my channel, More Mindful. I have a story that I want to share. So this is my story time. I haven't done one of these in a long time, so it's warranted tonight. Everyone has their own path as to what influenced them to move abroad, what made them, and it's usually several different elements. So my story today is to take you guys back to where it all started for me, which is high school. So at this time when I was in high school, I want to say it was either ninth or 10th grade. You know how you would do like PSATs and things like that, preparing you for the SATs, right? So there was an element in the PSAT test that had like a English and writing or reading and writing piece. And so I feel like I did really good on the PSAT English portion, and I actually did. I ended up getting a letter in school to take home to my mother, and the letter basically said that your student has done pretty well on the PSAT, and we think that me that I would be a good fit for their pilot program, which was to send students over to Beijing, China for a language immersion opportunity, an experience abroad basically. And so it was going to be us high schoolers going to a high school in China to teach them English, and then in return we learn Mandarin, so a language immersion program. And I remember like at the bottom it had said, if you are interested in this opportunity, please reach out about it. And it basically said like the opportunity is like $1,500. Like I was really excited about it because I was like, oh my gosh, like I could go to China, like what? So anyway, my mom basically kind of like, she was excited and she was very happy and proud of me. But she basically told me like, cannot really afford that. You know what I mean? $1,500. And it's crazy, like thinking about this now and looking back on it, I don't remember fretting, like being really upset or like, ugh, how could she not? You know what I mean? Like, no, like I felt like, and I mean, maybe she has a different side, but I genuinely, as a 14, 15-year-old girl, I feel like I remember being like, okay, that's okay. Like, it's understandable. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like I had a pretty like humble outlook on it. Even when she said we couldn't afford it, it was like, okay, I really didn't do too much dwelling about it. It was just an opportunity that came up and we let it go. I let it go. So I thought. But so that was like the blueprint that really sparked everything for me subconsciously, because then you fast forward again, I didn't think nothing about China after that at all. Like I kind of just buried that opportunity as like, well, you did something good, you had an opportunity, you couldn't take it, and that's okay. So you fast forward to my university days. When I'm in college, I'm at the University of Baltimore. I'm out Baltimore, living my whole little college life. I'm coming out of the whatever class I had in a liberal arts building, and on the wall there was a flyer for this program, and basically just going over like, would you like to intern in China? And I was like, wow, yes, I would love to intern in China. Why not, right? So I took a picture of the flyer and I went home. Of course, I had a computer, so I went home and I looked it up. I looked up the, excuse me, y'all. I looked up the program, and it was pretty reputable. They had a lot of good reviews, a lot of things. And this is where like things really started to get deep, because mind you, when I got out of high school, I took a gap year, right? So I actually started school in 2011, if I'm not mistaken. Like college. I started college in 2011. I graduated high school in 2010. So I was definitely like 19, 20. And it was just like I was already getting to this point where I was on this like spiritual path where I started thinking about things more deeply, and I started to become a lot more intuitive. And all that is to say that this program, according to the website, was damn near $3,000. I didn't know how I was going to pay for this. It was no, I had school refunds come in. You know how your money goes into the school, tuition, books, you know, whatever things, and then you get your kickback. I always had a little kickback, but I ain't had no $3,000 kickback. So I remember like very vividly, like something deep within myself that I needed to go. I needed to just apply for this program and make a freaking way. Like I just remember that so strong within myself. Like you gotta just figure it out. Just take the first step. And the first step was to apply to the program by putting in your information and then putting down a deposit of like $320. And I had at least that. So I was like, I'm willing to bet on myself that I'm gonna make this work somehow. So I paid $320 out of my refund money, and maybe I was working at the time, and I paid for the deposit. Time had gone by, and I called the program, you know, the people. They were based in Cali, but this is, mind you, an international program. Like they're in the US, the UK, and of course they have partnerships in China. So I called them and I said, hey, I applied to the program, but I'm really not sure about the financial, like the rest of the financial obligation. Is it at all possible to, you know, like get funding, or do you guys have any recommendations? Because I really want to be a part of the program. This type of program is that it's the type that it pretty much allows everybody in. It's not like you're competing. You are allowed in because you are paying so much money, and it's big groups of people, and you're paying, like I said, damn near $3,000. So the lady told me, oh yeah, like we do scholarships, partial and full scholarships. You can go on our website here at this link and apply there. And I was like, bet. Okay. Y'all, I saw the scholarship required like essays, and you know how it always says 500 words or less. And I don't talk less. I be really putting myself in everything that I do. And especially when it comes to writing and when I'm passionate about something. So I didn't do the essay right away. The essays, it was multiple. And of course the last question was something like, why do you know, like why should you be awarded this scholarship, this financial scholarship or whatever to the program? And so I was kind of building up in my mind like what I wanted to say for each one. I think I even wrote them down at one point and like started just writing it out, mapping out how I wanted to do it, how I wanted to type it up. I want to say, because I'm a college girl, you know, one of my, I would say, weak points has always been procrastination and consistency, like just not being consistent, like starting something, putting it down, and then like not coming back to it for a long period of time. So, you know, just again, me being a college girl, I had lots of other things happening. Like I got classes, full load, and papers, and I'm a procrastinator on top of it all. So, of course, I waited and I just kind of forgot about the scholarship for a while. I don't think I ever really like forgot, but I just didn't have it as a priority. So somehow, and I can't remember how this went, but like I just remember going onto the site and checking again when the due date was for the essays for the scholarship. Sorry, y'all, little mosquitoes. for the scholarship. And that shit was like damn near a week away, a couple of days. And I was like, oh my God, I gotta get started. I gotta get going. So I remember starting, I'm typing, got my little Word doc open. I'm typing it up. I'm going through the motions, okay, of really getting out what I want to say. And another thing with me is just being a perfectionist. It's like, it's really tough being a perfectionist, within your writing and wanting to convey how you feel within your writing. Perfectionist to the core. So I put it down again. And I do vividly remember having a paper or something that I felt like I needed to pour my energy into. So I stopped the essays for the scholarship and I started doing something else. Okay. So y'all, why did I like jump out of my skin when I realized that I was approaching the day that the scholarship essays were due? I jumped out of my skin. Like, I literally jumped up out of my bed and I looked at it and it said it was due at 12 a.m. that night. And it's just well, that like the next day it was due at 12 a.m., 11:59, whatever. You know how in college they used to have it where you would submit your papers? I was so bad, y'all, at like procrastinating and just like getting shit in at the very last minute. I was never one of those people that like turned in a book report on time, like a day or two in advance. No, like my book reports, when did you say it's due? Okay, I'm gonna get it to you then. Like, and so I did the same in college, y'all. It's like, this has been my whole life. I remember like if something was due, excuse me, y'all. But if something was due at 11:59, I was going to have it in with all the anxiety in the world at 11:59:03 with like 3 seconds to spare. I promise. Like, so I was kind of like really anxious about this. And I saw that I had about 4 hours left before midnight. It was like 9 o'clock or something. It was basically late. And something that I know about myself, and I knew even then, is that I have my best flow at night. I am at my like highest creative peak at night. I mean, I'm recording my video at night. I'm losing my voice, but I'm recording because I just get into a flow. I get into a rhythm. So I end up just sitting down. I had nothing else prioritized. I just sat down at my computer and I finished them goddamn essays. And I remember reading over them again and again and again, and I felt good about it. So I submitted, and I mean, I probably had like an hour and a half left or something, but I felt so good about them that I didn't take no more time than what I really needed, and I submitted those essays. Now, what happened after that? Life continued on. I don't even really think, I don't really know how deeply I thought about these, the scholarship, for the program. I can't really tell you guys, like, if I was like thinking about it every day, if I was like biting my nails off, wondering if I was going to get it, or like if I had any anxieties or anything like that. I really couldn't tell you because I was in college and I had a lot of shit going on anyway. So I just remember one night me and my friend was to meet up. If you know DC, you know. You know Gallery Place, right? I'm in Gallery Place at this, at Frozen Yo, yogurt or whatever it's called, ice cream shop. I'm in my own zone, being my cute little awkward self, awkward young 20-year-old self. And I'm sitting at the table waiting on my friend. I think I had my phone. I was probably looking at my phone or something. And then I got a call from a Cali number. Now, mind you, the program within the States is based in Cali, right? So when I saw the little 901 or whatever the number is, I was like, hold up, why they calling me so late? It's Cali, So, or like, who is this calling me from Cali? And I knew it was the program, but I, you just, life, I don't know. I just remember I was like, whoa, what's this about? You guys, I'm sitting in this restaurant or ice cream shop, out in the open, fluorescent lit, all of that. And I answer the phone kind of puzzled, and there's a girl on the other end, and she's like, hi, Marissa. This is such and such from blank blank program, and I wanted you to know that you're on speakerphone because we have some great news for you. And I'm like, I literally remember thinking, I know this lady is not about to get my hopes up to not tell me what I think she about to fucking tell me. Like, I literally remember feeling so like, this is unreal. I think she's about to tell me what I think she about to tell me. What is she about to tell me? But you don't want to get too crazy. But she hit me with the you on speakerphone with, and I'm like, well, damn, with some good news. Okay. So mind you, and this is time later after the scholarship had been submitted, so again, I wasn't thinking too deeply on it. So she says I'm on speakerphone, etc. And I'm like, okay. She's like, well, for summer of 2014, out of however many students that applied in the United States, in the UK, and in other countries, we want you to know that you've been awarded the 100% full ride scholarship to the program, and you're going to Beijing, China to intern as a PR. Oh my God, you guys, like, okay. Listen. Every time I think about that moment, I get so freaking choked up, y'all. Like, oh my gosh, I get so choked up. Like, I literally fell to my knees in the middle of this damn restaurant, crying, bawling tears. And I just remember, like, they just paused and they were just like, oh, congratulations. And like, I could cry now, y'all. I'm so wimpy. But like, I was so taken aback because, like, you know how it's like you want to always like reserve your feelings, like, but like in that moment when she told me that I was awarded the 100% scholarship, it was no need to reserve no more. Like, I just had to cry. I had to let it out. I was so excited. It was tears of joy. I was happy as hell. And I just, like, I learned at that moment, and I always refer to this moment as the moment that made me realize that when your instinct, when your gut tells you something, trust it and don't doubt it. Even if you don't know what the fuck is to come, what's getting ready to happen, how it's going to happen, you don't know, and you can't see the destination. Just know that if your gut, if your inner guide is telling you to make something or make a move, you got to do it. You got to do it or suffer. Like, I could have literally said, oh, bump this $3,000 program. I'm not about to give you my $320 deposit. Like, forget it. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, because how am I going to afford the rest of the program? I could have done that. And I had no idea about the scholarships in the beginning, but I just followed my gut through and through. And I always, like I said, reference that as that moment, that marker in my life, to never doubt yourself. So, anywho, I'm bawling, crying, y'all. It was just crazy. I'm bawling, crying, tears. Like, it's just all coming out, right? I called my mom. My friend shows up at the restaurant. She like, what's wrong? And I'm like telling her, like, it's unbelievable. I had to get over it just so I could like chill with my friend. Like, but I couldn't get over it, y'all. Like, I was so ecstatic. And that pretty much ends that story. So yeah, I ended up going to China months later in the summer of 2014, and I did interviews and all kinds of beautiful things, so from high school PSAT, high school PSAT, scoring well in the English reading section, to, you know, gaining an opportunity that I could not, you know, afford at the time. Like, we could not afford, me as a minor, you know, could not afford, right? And then letting it go, remaining humble, you know, just being me. And then the another opportunity very similar comes along, and taking a chance on myself, betting on myself, and taking that opportunity. And my mom says it all the time, like, you going to China, you came back a different person. You went to China as a young, you know, eager girl, and came back as like a confident, worldly woman. You know, like a woman that was a lot more sure of herself. And I attribute a lot of that to the experience of just following my gut. You know, like, I had such a beautiful time in China for a month. You know, it was my first time on a plane. It was my first time really, really leaving like the DC area. Like, I had gone to West Virginia, places like that, but like really like leaving. Like, I had never even been on the West Coast, still haven't been on the West Coast. I done traveled to Europe and a couple places beyond, and have never really been to that many states, you know, at this point in my life. But, you know, that's just my path. That's just the way that it went. And so, yeah, you guys, like, I really just remember that special moment. And I just tell you guys this so that you know, like, a piece of me. I'm sharing a piece of myself to let you know that, like, we all do have our own paths. We all do have our own combination of experiences that lead us, influence us, and motivate us to make whatever moves we're, you know, wanting to make. And to follow your heart's true intent, your heart's true desire and true will is very admirable and necessary. Okay, you guys, thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you made it to the end, please, please, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment. Peace and love.